Hey, what's up, people? We've got a retro PC to look at, and this is not one that I need to fix up or anything like that. This is actually a PC that a friend of mine found on Facebook Marketplace being given away for free. And so he picked it up, and he's really only interested in the case itself. He wants to use it to maybe like build like a sleeper PC. So he said that I can keep all the internals, and he also let me have the keyboard and mouse that came with it. This is in an older style, like a membrane keyboard with the AT connector, which is something that I was quite interested in because I could use this to test some like older PC equipment that I have. And I do have some like older PS2 keyboards that I could just use an adapter in, but this already has the right connector, so it just makes it less of a hassle. It also came with this 2-button Microsoft mouse. It's a old style ball mouse, and it's got the serial connector, so a nice little bonus. And according to what he said, I guess the guy that gave it to him said that it does work, but we have no idea as to the specs of it or anything. We have no idea what CPU is in there. It could be like a 486 of some sort, early Pentium, no clue. So we're going to open it up, take a look at what's inside. We'll see if it even boots. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing any repairs or anything like that. We're just going to check it out, see what's in it. And then I'm just going to completely part it out. I'm just going to take out all the internals and let him have the case. Taking a look at the back, we can see that there's the power supply. We got that AT keyboard connector. There is what appears to be a parallel port connector for like printers. There is 2 serial ports. So this is the 25-pin serial port, the 9-pin serial port. That's just a blank. There's a 15-pin connector for like monitors. I don't know what kind of VGA card is going to be inside of it. There is a Kingston 10100 NIC. That's network interface card if you happen to not know what a NIC is. And it's a sound card of some sort. Don't know if that's going to be like a Creative Labs branded like Sound Blaster 1 or something like completely different. There's a couple blanks missing in these 2 spots, and there's some debris in there. So it looks like maybe this was stored in like a shed or something, because that looks like plant material. And I don't want to plug in and try to turn this thing on just yet, because there is something rattling around inside, and I don't want like anything to potentially like get damaged. I do want the internals to at least work. So before we try to do anything power-wise, I do want to like figure out what the heck is going on inside. As we can see, there are no screws on the back, so this case does not come off in this direction. It's going to be held in by the front plate, or the face plate, rather. So there's a spot down at the bottom where we can pull up on it, and it just pops right off. We can see we've got a 6-speed CD-ROM drive, a 3.5-inch floppy. The power switch is the clunky type. Got a reset button and a cylindrical key lock, and it's currently in the unlock position, so I guess that's good. Not that it would matter anyways. We could just jump the wires if we needed to. So this comes off, and we can see that there are no screws. Oh, and by the way, it's missing, I think it's missing like a couple feet, or at least 1 foot at the bottom, so it just kind of teeters and totters like that. All right, so this thing slides forward, and I guess place your bets now. What's it going to be? Is it going to be a 486? Is it going to be a early Pentium? No clue. Let's find out together. I'm going to flip this to the side. And here comes the cover. All right. That is going to be... I can't tell. The CPU is down underneath this ribbon cable. I'm going to take a stab and say that it's a... I can't see the numbers on the socket yet, so I'm going to say that it's a 486. And there is a hard drive, so presumably if it's fully functional, it should boot. Now, what's rolling around inside that I could hear? Oh, I guess it was just these connectors were just kind of like rattling around in there. So I think I'll get a vacuum and I'll clean off like all that debris. Let's zoom in on that. Yeah, you can see right there, all that grass-looking stuff. So let's see, what kind of socket is that? That is a socket... Oh, dang, I failed. That's a socket 7. So this is going to be an early Pentium. It's been a while since I took apart one of these old computers, so this is actually kind of exciting for me. And that's an ESS audio drive. The graphics adapter, it's a... I can't tell what it is. It's a PCI device for sure. It's not like AGP or anything. All right. I didn't go crazy with the cleaning, but I did try to vacuum up some of the larger chunks of debris that were inside. And since nothing in here looks potentially hazardous, I'm going to hook it up, just power, video, and the keyboard, and see if it comes to life. And maybe the boot up screen will tell us what sort of CPU is inside and what kind of memory or the size of the memory. It's actually got 4 SIMs in there, but I don't know what size those are. I can't see any labels or anything. I'm going to have to take them out to actually be able to see it. But I don't want to touch anything just yet. Let's just see how it does in the state that it's currently in. So I'll hook it all up and we'll be right back. And we're back. I've got everything hooked up. I've got the mouse, the keyboard, the VGA cable, and power. The PC is not on just yet. And I have the VGA cable going into a HDMI or VGA to HDMI converter. And unfortunately, this camera and the HDMI that input that this is connected to, they're on the same switch. So I have to manually switch between this camera and this input. I really do need to get me another HDMI capture device. So I'm going to switch over to this one, and the screen's going to go blank. I'm going to try to power on the PC, and we'll see if it comes to life. And we have no idea what's on this PC. It could turn out that I may end up needing to like censor some things. I have no clue. We'll find out together. So I'm going to switch this now. And there we are. So let's see. Let's try to power it on, see if it comes to life. And the fan spins up. I can hear the hard drive spooling up. We heard a beep. Nothing showing up on the capture. Do I need to switch this again? Oh, there it is. So a Pentium MMX 200 megahertz. It's got 64 megs of RAM. Intel i430VX PCI set. Found the CD-ROM. Wow, so it's working. See how long it takes to boot. Wow, that's taking its sweet time. Oh no, primary master hard disk fail. Well, there's your problem. I barely touched this and it just completely fell off, so it wasn't even inserted all the way. So I'm going to reinsert it, make sure that it's actually in all the way. Okay, this doesn't feel like it. I mean, it goes in, but it just doesn't feel very tight. So I don't know if while I was like wiggling this around, I managed to like yank it out. I think I probably did. So it's back in. Let's go back to it and we'll see if it boots up this time. Okay, here we go. I've got the input back to the PC. I just clicked it on. Got a beep. There it is. So, and I see that the left side of the screen is kind of squished. I don't know if I can tweak that from. Oops. Well, cleared out. There it goes. It's booting. So that was it. Oh, wow. T Server 4.0, server, and Windows. All right, let's go with just Microsoft Windows. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to put the microphone up to the... Oh, it's got Windows 95. I'm going to put the microphone up to the hard drive. You can hear it clicking away. Okay, so it's still clicking away, but the screen went blank. And it's not coming back. All right, I've been sitting here a bit. It's not coming back. I'm going to try to reset it, and I'll try it one more time. What in the world? I've never seen this before, so this is what came up. Oh, and it kept going. Okay, this time it did boot, and it came up without the screen going blank and not coming back up. Let's see, mouse is responding. So, did this have Windows 95 installed and they never booted it? Let's not do this for now. Let's just gonna, I mean, we don't really care. There's a problem with your display settings. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna care about any of this right now. Let's just go into it and see what. Holy crap! Shortcuts much? A real jukebox. and Chicken Run in the background. Real Player 7, Lotus Smart Suite. Zone Alarm. And now we have a train background. And wind pivot. And... All right, so this is going to have to get censored. There we go. I arranged all the icons. We got Cyber Media First Aid 97. Apparently, they had a Lexmark printer hooked up to this. Sandra frequently asked questions. Shortcut to NFL line. I don't know what that is. X10 Firecracker. Did they have some sort of like home automation stuff hooked up to it? Possibly. Oh, this is like a shortcut bar. But I think if I want this to look any better, I am going to have to get some drivers on that video card. Because, well, let's see. Let's just go to 16-bit, see if that works. Fine, we'll restart. All right, I tried several times. I could not get the Windows 95 desktop to come up again. It just blanks out and it stays like that. I have to probably figure out a different way to hook up the capture, but let's try NT Server 4.0. Actually, let's do VGA mode. Maybe that'll work. Let's see what happens. And it's still getting cut off, and so I need to adjust this. Press Control-Alt-Delete to log on. It's got the Microsoft Backrooms. And obviously, I don't have a password for this, so pretty sure I could probably still get into this if I forgot how to do it, but yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be easily able to get into this like quickly, but oh, that's lovely. At least one service or driver failed during system startup. Use Event Viewer to examine the event log for details. Okay. Well, I'm honestly not too interested in like this thing booting and like showing software. What I could do to explore, you see what's all on the hard drive, is just to take it out, plug it into a IDE to a USB adapter, and then I can explore like all the files on my bench PC. That would be much easier than trying to deal with all the problems this thing is currently seems to be having. I mostly just wanted to verify if the hardware was working, and it appears that it is, so that's win enough for me. Okay, I tried to view the contents of this drive by connecting a VGA monitor directly to the PC to see if I could get into Windows that way, but it always blanks out when it tries to boot into Windows 95, and I cannot get past that point. I have a feeling it's probably going to be like a driver issue, but I'm not about to troubleshoot any of that. I don't really care too much about it. So I took out the drive and I tried connecting it to two different IDE to USB adapters. And even though the drive will show up in the device manager, for some reason, like once I try to open it up, it just sits there, like it hangs and nothing happens. And I turn it off, it disconnects, and it just, I don't know. I couldn't get it to work for some reason, and I don't feel like sitting here troubleshooting it for too long. But this is the hard drive, so it's a Mac Store 85120A8. This is a 5.1, a whopping 5.12 gigabyte hard drive. So not huge, but our drive during this period of time, our family's computer was like a 3.1 gigabyte hard drive. So this was actually like a little bit bigger than what we had. So yeah, definitely not big at all. by today's standards. But these are the other adapter cards that were inside the machine. This is the Kingston 10100 network card. So see, we got 4 LEDs in the back, 10100 megabits per second. And there's the main chip right there. It's a KT98100. And on the back, we have a label that's for model number. So KNE 110TX 100B. And that's just a PCI card, as we can see. As far as the graphics adapter goes, that's a ProLink card. It's an MVGA CL546. And actually on the back, it's got the full number there. So it's a CL5465P. So it's a PCI graphics adapter. And I think from what I found, I think it has like 2 megabytes of video RAM. Actually, I just realized that. Is that RDRAM? It's got these look like the chips that are inside of a Nintendo 64. I totally didn't catch that until now. Well, that's the first time I've ever seen that. Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. And on the other side, it has this other connector. I don't know what the heck is going on with that. Looks like that might be for more RAM. Let's see, we got the same type of mounting points where it's got 2 pins on the left and the right side, is like the way these are. And it's got all the pins in there. So it almost looks like maybe it'd be like a sort of an expansion port of sorts. That is trippy. That's like, I'm a little dumbfounded right now, to be honest. But anyway, other things on the card, it looks like some variations of this card would have had like a S-Video port in that spot, and maybe a composite port on that spot. I don't know if these would be inputs or outputs. It's missing a header up at the top that would probably have gone to like some sort of like additional board there for like other video processing functions. And then it has this other header. It looks to be a 26 pin header. And I think I've never used it back then, and I never really knew what it was for, but I think it's like a Visa feature port or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was something along those lines, and I don't know exactly what all it did. I'd have to research it. But other things on the card, a couple of voltage regulators. I think this is a Cirrus Logic IC from what I saw. So now I'm curious. I'm going to look up this part number. I want to know if that is RDRAM or not. So yeah, it turns out these are Rambus DRAM chips, and I guess the logo there should have been like a dead giveaway that they're Rambus chips. So first time I ever see Rambus DRAM used on a graphics adapter like this, especially a PCI one. That's totally a first for me. I did not expect to see that at all. So totally caught me off guard there, but we'll put that aside. And let's take a look at the more basic audio soundboard. And this is a 16-bit ISA card, and it's using the ESS audio drive ES1688F. I like the fact that all the jumpers they've got their little charts for where to put the jumpers for different functions. So that's actually nice to see. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff going on this card. We've got the game port right there for joysticks and controllers. It has an audio amplifier, so that would be so you can plug in speakers directly into the card, and then it'll do the amplification. You don't have to have like a separate set of powered microphones of speakers or anything like that. Up there it says it's got a wavetable upgrade connector, and then it's got 3 different audio inputs from CD-ROM drives. This appears to be, it says speaker in, so I guess what you would do is you would connect your speaker connector on the motherboard directly into that, and then it probably routes the audio so that you get the postcodes and everything through the speakers. And then it has an IDE port on the side, so you can hook up like CD-ROMs. That about does it for that. For the motherboard, I ended up having to do a Google Lens search because I don't see any identification on it other than a 555 version 3.0 down at the very bottom. And it turns out that this is a Shuttle HOT 555A. And so, yeah, it's a socket 7 board. It's got 3 ISA slots. It's got 4 PCI. It's got the built-in IDE as well as the floppy and both serial and the parallel ports. It's got 4 SIM connectors for the 30-pin SIMs. And then it's got the longer DIMMs. It's got 2 connectors for those. Now, I have not done anything to this board, but I'm about to show you guys something. And anybody that's more familiar with like more modern PCs is probably going to cringe at this. But I unclipped the clip that holds the heatsink to the socket, and I haven't touched it or anything. All I did was remove the clips. Check this out. No heatsink paste. So the heatsink just makes direct contact with the heat spreader on the CPU, and looks like somebody wrote 200X on it right there. There's a bit of a close-up. You can see it, 200X. So yeah, it's a Pentium 200 with MMX. And at the time, these CPUs really didn't get like all that hot. So this actually worked for the most part. Although it was a good idea to at least, put some heat sink grease on it just to maximize the like the heat transfer. But it wasn't completely necessary. And I'm just, kind of putting that in quotes. But yeah, so we can release the CPU by lifting the little lever, just like on other more modern CPU sockets. And there we go. So MX Tech, it's a 2.8 volt CPU. Got that label on it probably for like warranty purposes. So yeah, that's what they had in here. As far as the memory goes, these two, I should have undone these first. Let's go ahead and release those. These two rear ones say LG Semicon. I guess that right there, or maybe that's the model number. Not sure. So got 8 ICs on these boards, on these two more bottommost ones. And then the ones up higher, they have a total of 12 ICs on them. And I'm going to guess that that's probably the model number for those. So if this thing has 64 megabytes of RAM. All right, so I was going to try to guess, but I decided to just look up the model number. So it's this E71042. So it turns out that these are 16 megabyte SIMs. And I misspoke when I said 30-pin SIMs. No, these are 72-pin SIMs. So that means that these two are 16 each, and then these two are going to be 16 each. So using lower density ICs on these other SIMs, I'm guessing. So this thing definitely had a bit more RAM than our computer at the time did. I think we only had 48 megabytes of RAM. So there we go. That was the contents of this sort of mystery PC. And even though I couldn't read this using my PC at the bench, I do have another project that I've been planning for some time now, and I've been kind of prepping for getting some stuff together that I may be able to use to read the contents of this drive. So I'll stay tuned for that, I guess. But for now, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see you guys around the bench.